This is part 1 in the Reed 1C Vise Rebuild series. If you haven't seen my previous series on the 4C, click the link at the top of the screen. In this video, we'll briefly go over Reed and the vise itself and then get into the disassembly. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. In my previous series on the Reed 4C rebuild, I covered the history of Reed a little bit more thoroughly, and here I'm just going to kind of wash over it. But basically, the business was founded in 1896 by Carl Reed, and then it was purchased by a gentleman named Reuben Wright in 1902, and that family has continued to own the company ever since then. But Reed made excellent vises, and they still make vises today, but most of their products are centered around pipe and pipe vises and that kind of stuff, as opposed to the general purpose and machinist vises. So like the 4C, this 1C actually belongs to my friend Jordan, and he asked me to rebuild it, so we're rebuilding it. And we'll go over some of the specifications on it. So it's got pipe jaws and vise jaws, and that's what makes it a C. It's a combination vise. Notice the 2 oil ports and the date stamp on this side. Notice the Reed Manufacturing Company stamping on the side of it, or the embossment on the side. It has a hockey puck shaped spindle as opposed to the meatball, and this was introduced in 1947. And it has 4 bolt holes in the base, which was introduced in 1938. And it has jaws that are 3.5 inches. And it also has 2 swivel locks, and this was introduced in the 1940s. Prior to that, they just had 1. The vise weighs 54 pounds and can open up to a 4-inch gap. So that's the basic specifications. Let's get into the disassembly. So we're going to go ahead and separate the dynamic jaw from the static jaw. We just do that by spinning it all the way out. Then we're going to separate the base from the static jaw. So we'll just loosen and then remove both of these swivel locks. This vise is in really good condition. I really didn't have to use a whole lot of force to get anything removed from it. Even the main screw that's down here on the bottom wasn't even in there very tight. I'm able to get it off of there by hand. And on the bottom here you can see there are 4 standoff pads, and this was introduced in 1958. So this vise was made at least 1958, if not after. And there is a date stamp on the vise, but we'll get to that later. Notice that the locking paws have teeth on them, and this was introduced in 1938. And here we are with the static jaw. So unlike the 4C, the main nut or spindle nut is held in place with a split threaded pin that was changed to a dowel in the 1970s. So this was produced before the 1970s. So we've got a bracket of time there, 1958 to 1970. Now that split threaded nut will just be popped out. The threaded part was for that set screw that we removed. I've got a little bit better of a close-up picture of it here in a second. But that top end is split so that when you thread that set screw in there, it kind of pushes it apart and wedges against the spindle nut, which we just removed. Now there's no indicator on which direction this spindle nut needs to go back in. So what I'm going to do is make a little index marking on it. We'll just use a spring-loaded punch. Just put a little index mark on there. That end needs to face towards the front of the vise. There we go. So next we'll remove the pipe jaws. And these are just pins. But that pipe jaw can get slightly cockeyed in there, so the pins kind of get hung up inside the pipe jaw part itself. And there we go. We'll pull that jaw out of there. Notice the orientation of how it came out. Then we'll go ahead and remove the vise jaw. And it looks like the screw on the left's the slot on it is really boogered up. It's not very deep in the head at all. Since we're going to be replacing these screws and the jaws, we can just go ahead and break out a Fordham or a Dremel and reslot that screw so that we can get it out of there. So I try to get the screwdriver to get a bite in it, but just wasn't happening. Even broke out a punch. And that really didn't do a whole lot either. I'm using a little bit bigger of a blade on the end of that screwdriver and still not getting a good purchase on that head. So the Fordham it is. And we'll just reslot this. Since these jaws are brass, cutting into them on the edges, super easy. If these were hardened jaws, this would have been a lot more difficult. And we are going to replace them with regular hardened jaws. But get a little bit of purchase on it, get it to turn. There we go. It's not like the screw was rusted in there or anything. We just couldn't get the screwdriver to get a bite on it. And there we go. And there's a little pin right there in the center that keeps the jaws from rotating a little bit. This is the set screw for the split nut that retains the spindle inside the dynamic jaw. So you'll see here in a second when I turn it sideways, there are little indentations in the top of the split jaw that you can get a punch in there and get it to rotate. And we're just trying to back it out. Getting it going in both directions until it starts doing some movement here. So there wasn't a whole lot of oil or grease on it, but no rust either. So you know, this vise, although it wasn't lubricated very well, was well maintained and kept very clean. I suspect it didn't see a whole lot of use. Or if he did, it was very minor. So you can see those little indentations I was talking about, and that's where I was sticking that pin in there and trying to drive it, or punch. And there's the split nut. So this looks to be cast, the split nut does, but they changed to a forged split nut in 1942, supposedly. So maybe it's forged. I don't know. I'm not a metallurgist or anything like that. Here I'm just looking to see if there's a washer in there, and I think there is, but I can't really get it out right now. Looks like they may have some compound between the washer and the cast iron, so we'll worry about it later. There's supposed to be a washer in there that cuts down on the wear of the cast iron from the spindle. So here we're just removing the vise jaws from the dynamic jaw now. Same process. And you can kind of see the date stamp right there. I won't keep you in suspense. This was December of 1965. So it's 1265. I'll put some better pictures of it in a later video once we've cleaned everything up. And there's the two pins and the vise jaw, or the pipe jaw. And then we just need to remove the brass vise jaw. Luckily both of these screws, no problems at all. They'll come out, and none of this stuff, like I said, was rusted or anything like that, so very easy to disassemble. So for this rebuild, we're going to be painting this vise because Jordan said he wanted it painted, so we're going to paint it. And we're going to replace those jaws and hopefully get that washer out of the dynamic jaw. So that's probably going to take, I don't know, maybe 4 videos in total, maybe 5. Well, maybe even 6, who knows. But that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. As always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.